Hi guys, thanks for joining. I'm AshJVS and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I am going to go through some of the game settings that I've got set up for combat, PvP combat specifically, but you know it helps all sorts of combat, even PvE. So for space combat and flight combat, effectively, not FPS combat. I'm not the best PvPer in the world. I'm not even the best PvPer in the org. So, you know, these are just the settings I've done. If you have something you feel is better, feel free to share that with me. And if you feel something's better for you, then that's great as well. I'm just going to go through the choices that I've made, so you can make your own choices too accordingly, right? So what we can do is we can come into options down here, and it goes straight into game settings. So the first few of these are pretty useless for flight combat, right? They're to do with other items. The first one that really comes into it is flight couple mode toggle. Now I toggle between coupled and decoupled mode, and this allows me the ability to do that. Depending on the situation, I'll do that. I've got it bound to one of the switches on my sticks, so that's why I have it as yes. If you fly just coupled or just decoupled, just click this to know. You don't need that in any way, shape or form. HOTAS thrust invert toggle, I have it as yes, but I don't ever use this. But sometimes you do need to invert the thrust because Star Citizen inverts it for you. So I've left it as yes. The next one is really important, is flight G-Safe defaults on. So G-Safe is what it does is it slows your ship down depending on how many G's you're pulling. So if you're pulling too many G's, it slows it down. Now in combat, you want to be in control of how many G's you're pulling. So you don't want the ship to be doing that for you, or the AI to be doing that for you. And it's really, really easy to negate the G-forces. As soon as you start to feel like your screen is, starting to blur, you just have to pull your strafe down button for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then you're fine again, right? So it's really easy to counteract. So don't be fearful of this. Just turn it off, and then over time you'll see it's good. It's really, really good. The next one is disabling G-Safe when boosting. I say that is yes. I know G-Safe is already off, but this just, as a double whammy for me. For the speed limiter, now I have it as no, because I again have this bound to one of the switches on my sticks, and I do flick between it. I sometimes have it on, I sometimes have it off, and that's part of the way I play. But I recommend, and I think most people would recommend, that you start with this on, because you want to be limiting your top speed when you're fighting to be just about 10 or 15% above SCM speed. And I do that, right? Especially, things like when you're landing and things like that, I have it on. So it's only no because I don't take off with it, but I do put it on while I'm flying. So I toggle that later with my sticks anyway, right? So it's fine. The next really important one is proximity assist. So what this does is, again, like G-Safe, when it slows your ship down when you're close to another body, right? That body could be an asteroid, but that body could be another ship as well. And the problem is, if you're close to another ship, you don't actually want AI to be slowing you down. You want to be controlling whether you're going to hit that ship or not. And again, once you have this off for about 5-10 minutes, an hour, you will get used to it. It's not something that you need to be worried about. You're not suddenly going to start hitting like a million asteroids just because you've got this off. It will improve your combat performance, because when you're close to someone else, you're no longer slowing down and they're getting the advantage, right? So you're effectively, by having this on, giving the opponent the advantage, which is not what you want to do, all right? Space brake engages boost. I have that. This defaults to no. I have it as yes because I was pressing both boost and space brake. But this means that I just need to press one button and it will boost while I space brake. So that helps me out. I mostly fly in couple mode, so I have that defaulted on. So that's how it starts for me there. So that's good. The next two are enhanced stick precision. Again, very important here. What these do is the zone size for the enhanced stick precision. It creates a little cone in front of you, like a little circle that, you know, in that circle, if your pip is in that circle, or if your opponent's in that circle, or if your crosshairs are in that circle, it just helps you aim a little bit better, right? So it just creates that cone in front of you, and as you get closer to as you get your crosshairs closer to your pip, that's the way it goes, it slows it down a little bit for you, so you can actually hit the target. Now if you have it too big, then you're slowing down too much. If you have it too slow, you're not slowing down at all, and you're overshooting your pip the whole time. I was in one of the trainings that Liberty Reapers do, and they said they have it between 4 and 6. So, you know, it starts at 8. I suggest you start at 8 and then you work out what's right for you. And the dampening curve just shows what dampening it does. Now, you know, I've got it set at 1.2. You need to work out what is best for your current flying style. And what I'll do is I'll share something in the description, a video where there's a guy called Jonathan Winters, and he goes through how to set these using Pirate Swarm, and that's, you know, you set it to your own flying style and your own capabilities, and that's good. I wouldn't recommend changing these many times, like all the time, because it totally fucks with your aim for a little bit. I would change them, fix them, change it, you know, try them for a while. Then if you feel that, you know, you want to give it another go of playing around with them, then by all means, but don't play around with them all the time, because you will just constantly be learning how to aim again, right? VJoy visibility shows you a little line that comes from your from the center of your screen to show which direction your ship is being pulled into for pitch and yaw. I have it turned off for my sticks, but again, you can have this as always visible, especially when you're learning how to fly. That's very, very useful, right? So because I only have it with my mouse and I don't really fly with my mouse, I've left the rest of the VJoy settings to be default. I haven't changed them in any way, shape or form, right? You can also change the dampening curve and the zone size for the enhanced stick precision for your turrets, but I've left these as default. I haven't changed these at all yet. So this is what it defaults to, 8 and 1.1. I've got mine at 5 point something and 1.2. So, you know, that's the way it is, right? Default convergence distance. This is a little bug in the current patch. This is which distance from your ship your laser weapons or your weapons are trying to center at, right? So normally if you're flying a fighter and you've got something, you know, like a size 3 repeater, they are best at around 800 meters to 1 kilometers, right? So I tend to pick 500, but the bug is that every time I back out of here, it doesn't save it. So hopefully they'll fix that bug, but I would recommend you pick between 500 and 800, and that's really the distance you want to be close to your opponent when you're pulling the trigger anyway. So that's important there. I don't use gimbals, but by all means go ahead and use gimbals. I know in the latest ISR they've said that they're going to make gimbals a little bit better by allowing a larger size weapon to be put onto gimbals and stuff like that. I might try it out again, but I've got all of these left as default and I've left it as fixed because that's where I want to start off my day with, and take it from there. There's this one here, which is a bit more of a quality of life thing. It won't make your PvP better, but it's when you're cycling through the amount of missiles you can go through. If you reach the top, it can then go over the top to the next side. I've left that as no because I get really annoyed when I go to my max and then I'm still, wanting to go another level. Now you can use that to your advantage. You can say yes and you can actually press the negative button and go to a max from your 1, but I've just left it as 1 there. Bombs, no, I don't use bombs. I have never flown the A2, so no changes here from me. Vehicle targeting, enable crosshair animation. Yes, I think it defaults to yes anyway. So what you want to do is you want your crosshair to change its it changes from like red to green and changes its shape when you're in a position where the AI believes you're going to hit your target. So it's good. It's a good thing to have in there and good thing to know as you're doing that right as well. What kind of pip you're using depends on you entirely, right? Some people use lead, some people use lag. Some of the best pilots in the verse use lead, and some of the best pilots in the verse use lag. So it's totally up to what you're used to. If you've been flying just lead, try lag for a little bit. It might help you, it might not. Then you might be like, oh my god, my brain can't handle this, and you go back and you might take it the other way as well. I go with lead for 99% of my fights, but if I am fighting, let's say an Idris in a small fight, then I go lag, because that allows me to pick where I'm hitting my target. But so I've got it bound as well, so I do swap between these two, but usually I leave it as lead, right? The next few you want yes, because you want any target that you have locked, you want to know their heading, you want to know their distance from you, you want to know their name, and you want to know their trail, because that will help you target them better. Sometimes we talk about, we're targeting X, Y, and Z person, and because we all want to hit the same person at the same time, then move on, because that's better way of combat when you're doing it as a team. So you're able to see whose name it is, so you can target the right name rather than just go after in your own direction. So leave all of these on. That's very useful. Auto selection behavior for targeting. I have a Tobii eye tracker, and I can use the direction I'm looking at to pick the target that I want to target effectively. But if you don't, just use VJoy and that's fine. It's whatever will be in front of you, it will pick that as your target, and that's fine as well, right? I don't know what overflow behavior is. I've left it as default. I think if you know what it is, let me know in the descriptions, and we can I can make the edit apparently. Enable auto zoom on lock target. Turn this to no. This will annoy the hell out of you. And same with pilot look ahead enable. Turn this to no. What happens is when you target someone and you're getting into a fight, your camera zooms in for some God known, I have no idea why they do it, but the camera zooms in, and what that does is it actually makes it really, really hard to dogfight, because you're no longer looking at your MFDs. You want to have a view of some of your MFDs, right? So this makes just PvP or combat in general just annoying. So I would turn both of these off. That makes the rest of these redundant. Same with the turrets, I've turned these off, and the drivers, I've turned these off. I've turned them all off, right? I don't want any of that. Some people don't like the head moving because G-forces. I don't mind it. I've turned it on. It's fine. Camera shake, you can turn this off. I don't mind it, so I've turned it on. This is if you're using a sniper rifle or something like that, it does help with FPS in that regard, but it's fine. Fidelity, man, leave it on. What else is important? Yes, showing your own party's nameplates, leave that on as yes, and the maximum distance, because you want to know where your friends are and you want to know how far they are from you. The next two I think weren't defaulted to yes, they were no, and that's if you got a friendly and you've not got them targeted, so they're blue, their names don't appear underneath them. And I've got to turn this on because when they come close to me, I can see their name without ever even targeting them or scanning them. They have to be pretty close. Hopefully they'll give us the ability like they've got up here to do a distance so we can see to a certain distance, but it's good to see that. And for neutral and hostile contacts, again, it helps you pick the target when you're fighting as a team, so you can all go after the same target, right? Which is important for squad or flight-based combat. So it's good. Leave them on, and then showing your contacts distance is very important, because you want to know how far they are before you shoot. You know, we said convergence between 500 and 800 meters is the best for about size 3 or down repeaters, even size 4 repeaters. So you want to have this distance enabled so you know when to shoot. And I think the last two I've got them as no. I don't really know what they do. So yeah, that's about it. If you find that there are some issues with these, feel free to tell me. If you find that you've got better settings, feel free to tell me. I'm always willing to learn and update these as I go along. So thanks, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day.